you can take the fame and the money, but be prepared what else is going to come. You've got to have thick skin, really thick skin.
Mark Wright, a young guy from Essex who shot to fame and became an overnight celebrity. We talked about how he dealt with the highs and lows of his newfound popularity.
Wait till we started, they followed me around for 5 weeks. My Facebook blew up first, but also I saw a lot of trolls. That's it now. My life's never going to be the same. I saw a pattern. I went, hang on a minute, playing at Tottenham a year ago. The world's at my feet, playing the reserves. To bang, I'm done. Everyone else, before I'd even said anything, Sky Sports, Mark Wright on, switching off.
We talk about his celebrity lifestyle and how it affects his personal life.
People say about my relationship, how they're always working, when do they see each other? And at that point I was like, have I thrown it all away already? Because TOWIE blew up overnight. It didn't gradually happen, it went bang. And people started looking at me in the club and asking for pictures. And I remember I took myself to the toilet, I texted my mum. Always remember, I went, Mum, actually gets me a bit choked up thinking about it. I went, Mum.
You're listening to No Boundaries. So, welcome to No Boundaries podcast with myself, Aaron Mclean. And my good friend here is my first guest today, Mark Wright. Mark, how are you, mate?
I'm doing good, Airsy. I'm doing good. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. When did we meet? I think we were... I
want to say at least 19, 20 years ago.
Well, I was probably 18 or 19. Yeah, 19 maybe.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, like 16, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's been a long time. You ain't aged much, though.
Yeah, right.
I have, but you haven't, so
No.
good.
You definitely ain't.
So, mate, you're doing everything at the minute. You are non-stop. I've got to say, you're one of the hardest working people that I know.
Oh,
And there's
thanks,
a few
man.
of you. There's a few of you. There's you, there's Jez, there's Kevin Stevens, Steve-O. You guys are non-stop.
I just think it's if I had to be, listen, I've not got in my world a born talent. I have to create from this amazing opportunity that I've been given. You know, I've been put on the ladder, and I have to try and keep making hay while the sun shines. Because the minute I no longer matter, I haven't really got a natural kind of voice or acting talent to get myself out of trouble and keep going. So I've just got to keep riding this wave, you know.
And is that a big thing for you, is staying relevant, the relevancy?
I think it used to be. It's a good question. I think it used to be. But now it's more about just staying on top of like businesses. What's new? What's next? Okay, right. I've done the reality stuff. Now I want to be a presenter. Now I want to go into sports. Now I'm a radio presenter, so I want to do music. So I'm just trying to touch on every single element I can. I'm going into something else at the moment with my wife, the first thing we've ever done together, which is a completely different thing than I've ever done. I'm hoping that's going to be the biggest thing we do. I've got my training app, so I'm into fitness as well. And just trying to, it's just about graft. And the one thing, and the reason why I mention about not born naturally with a gift, like some actors and singers and whatever else are in my industry, it's my work ethic. You know, no one will ever take that away from me. No one will ever. I just love success. I love drive. And sometimes, Airsy, I punish myself, and I'm like, I'm working too much. I need to enjoy life more, and I'll stop to work. I'll settle down for a couple of weeks and I get bored.
Yeah.
And if you like the way I look at it, if someone likes an easy life, that's fine. I like to be busy. I enjoy it.
Well, nothing comes easy.
No,
Do you know what I
exactly.
mean? Nothing's going to be given to you. So you have to go and work for it.
Exactly.
And it's the same in any profession. You know, in football, I knew that it's very similar to yourself in terms of I was never the best player in my team, whether it was a 10-year-old in a Sunday team or whether it was at Hull City in the Premier League. Like, I was never ever the best player in my team. So
I played in the team with you, and I think you're putting yourself down a bit, because I'd probably say you were the best player in the team.
I disagree. Well, I've never looked at myself like that. You know,
you played like what we're talking about, like a grafter. That's how you played. You chased down every last ball. You worked so hard on the training ground. So that's, yeah, so I know what you're saying.
But that's where it comes from, is having that drive, having that determination to look at other people and think, right, I want to be where you are. So how am I going to get there? I'm probably not naturally gifted like you are, but my desire and drive is what will get me to where I want to be. And hopefully once I almost bought myself time to be able to get to those levels, you know. So,
and that is how you played. You're right. You've just summed that up well, actually. And I'd actually say that's why and you know, everyone can give their excuse why they didn't make it. I would say the reason I didn't is because this attitude that I live with, I didn't do that when I played football. I was the first one off the training ground. I didn't care enough about being the best player on the pitch, whereas you play at every training session, you'd be drenched in sweat, you'd be rattling people in training. I just used to turn up, get me money and go home. Maybe that's why I am like I am now, because I saw that lack of work ethic ruin my career. And I was
missed opportunity almost.
I was sat there at 20 years of age going, all I've ever known is football, because when we're growing up, that's all we want to do. Didn't really do that well at school, so all I wanted to do was play football. And I was 20 years of age, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? My life's come to an end. And that's when I started becoming a grafter and do it. So maybe it was that reason that made me do what, you know, be like I am now.
So once you realise, okay, look, from a young age, you're playing at Arsenal, you're playing at Tottenham, you're playing at West Ham, and then you get to that age and you're like, right, I'm not going to make a football career out of this now. How does that transition come? Like, how did you end up going from wanting to be a footballer for all your life to all of a sudden being a TV reality star?
Hard work, really, and just having a vision. Do you know Steve Harvey, the American comedian host? Love that guy, right? He said something, and he said, find what you're naturally good at, even a little bit good at, and then just work on that. Don't try and be something that you think you should be or you think you want to be. Be what you're naturally good at. Like, you're good at this, what you're doing now, that's why you're doing it. If you weren't, you might not be good at singing, that's why you're not doing that. And as soon as I, started Nightclub promoting, when I went semi-professional football, I saw that I was good at being with people. I saw that I was good at entertaining, hosting. At 20 years of age, when I had to make that transition, and I think it comes from my family are so driven, and my dad's, another thing I don't speak about too much. When I was a kid, until I was like 5, my dad had everything. I watched my dad go from a big, massive detached house to having nothing. And I think that's embedded in me. So when it happened to me at 20, I saw a pattern and I went, hang on a minute, I'm playing at Tottenham a year ago, the world's at my feet, I'm playing the reserves, to bang, I'm done. And at that point I went, no, that's it. There's no way I'm ever doing this again. I'm going to be the best at everything I do. And the only way to do it is hard work. And people used to tell me, you want to be a professional footballer, like you have to, the hardest player in the team makes it. Fact. Yeah. How many players have we seen, Owen Price, mate, who have got every natural talent you could have, but they don't work hard enough, they don't make it. And then the players like you say weren't naturally as gifted as some of the other boys, but you went all the way because you worked hard. Yeah. And I just think that's what I learned from football and my dad. And I just, at 20 years of age, when it all came crashing down, I went, right, that's it.
And then from TOWIE, all of a sudden, you're known as a celebrity.
Fame was never my goal. And I want to go in the jungle, show the real me for 4 weeks if I get to the final, which I luckily did. But there ain't no rules. If I want to go away and work for 2 weeks, my wife supports that.
Thank you everyone for tuning into No Boundaries podcast. Now I need to tell you a little bit about this amazing product that I've been using by Manscaped. This is the Lawnmower 4.0. Lads, when it comes to trimming downstairs, this is by far the best trimmer I've ever used. With this being waterproof, it makes it ideal, safe and easy to use in the bathroom too. I'm always traveling, I'm in and out of hotels, and I'm able to just put this in my wash bag and I'm good to go. What I love about this package as a whole is what comes with it. You don't just get the trimmer, you get the anti-chafing deodorant, the refreshing toner, the charging pack, and a nice pair of boxers, which I'm currently wearing right now. The Lawnmower 4.0 helps to reduce nicks, the risk of ingrowing hairs, and any grooming accidents. And let's face it guys, who doesn't get a little bit nervous when we're dealing with a private area? Now, let's get onto the weed whacker. Now, I'm someone that struggles in this department. I've always got hairs coming out of my nose. It's not attractive, and the camera always seems to pick it up. So this is a game changer for me. So, guys, take my word for it. Get yourself the Lawnmower 4.0. And ladies, if you want your guy to stay fresh and clean, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, or you just want to do something nice for him, this is the gift to get him. Get yours today. You can get 20% off and free shipping with the code that's on the screen now. And this year, you'll have no regrets with our friends at Manscaped. Trust me lads, your balls will thank you. Now, Let's get back to No Boundaries.
What am I going to do? Nightclub promoting. I started stockbroking at the same time. I used to remember a Tuesday and Thursday, I'd get a train into London to stockbroke. I'd finish at 5 o'clock. I'd get a train back to Bishop Stortford, train for Bishop Stortford in the Conference South. After training, get back on the train and go into London and promote at Embassy and get in at 3 in the morning, wake up and do it again. Like I just went mental with work ethic. And then when TOWIE came along, you know, then I was like, right, I've been given this platform, no one's stopping me now, and I'm just gonna, you know, do what I can to go all the way.
And then from TOWIE, all of a sudden you're known as a celebrity. So yes, you've done the club promoting, and I'd see you running around nightclubs trying to organise everyone's tables, etc. But then you go into TOWIE, and now all of a sudden you're now thrust into stardom almost. And how was that transition? Because it must be difficult. Like I've never had that. I've never had that where all of a sudden people don't know who I am, and then before you know it, every single time I go out to the shops, there's paparazzi, and people want to take my picture, and people want to try and find a scandal or find something to write about me. Like, how do you deal with that?
Fame was never my goal. I'm not never going to sit here and go, oh, I didn't want to be famous, because I hate people to do that. Because if you do that, why are you doing the job?
Yeah.
But that weren't my main drive. My main drive was money. Happiness obviously is my first goal, but in terms of work. And the way TOWIE started, they followed me around for 5 weeks. My goal when that happened was one thing. I just bought a bar, Manor House, remember that? And returned to Deuces. Yeah. Just bought it. I'd been promoting, and I went, listen, there's a show that want to follow young people around. I'm going to get my nightclub promoting business and my bar on telly. At this point, I don't know telly. I didn't even know what ITV2 was. I'd never watched a show on ITV2. But I didn't care, because at that point, I'm walking around flyering outside train stations with like leaving flyers on people's cars. You know, I used to drive you mad to come to all my events. Suddenly, I'm going to be on telly. Anything's better than what I've been doing. Out of nowhere, I get a call saying TOWIE's been commissioned on ITV2, 10 o'clock, Sunday and Wednesdays. I was like, oh, really? Oh, didn't really know what that meant. Again, weren't about the fame. I weren't like, yes, I'm going to get famous. I was like, brilliant, right. First episode, and I said to the producers, first episode is about my nightclub promoting. So that's what it was. The first ep was I did a party, then I put the bar on there and all that. And that's what it was about, getting my bar and my promoting stuff on there, because I just wanted to be successful. And suddenly, I think I literally woke up the next day after the first episode. My Facebook blew up first. Like, I think you was allowed 5,000 friends. It was a cap. And my Facebook friends went up, but also I saw a lot of trolls. You can take the fame and the money, but be prepared what else is going to come. You've got to have thick skin, really thick skin. And what done me weren't the randoms, it was the people I knew from Essex, because that's all I knew. I didn't know anyone else from any other city. I was just quite popular in this area. And I just see people I knew going, what is this show? What a load of shit, you know, sorry for my language, but like, oh, look at these mugs, thinking of this, thinking of that. And I remember I just exploded. And they was filming, TOWIE filmed us watching the first episode. It actually went into episode 2, you can see it. And I told them to get out, I'm done, I'm never coming on this show again. Because I listened to the trolls. And then I still didn't realise I was famous or it had blown up or whatever overnight, like your question. Sorry to beat around the bush. But I did a PA on the Friday after that. So that was the Sunday night. And the Friday after, I went to Windsor. I did a PA, you've probably been there, I can't remember the club's name. Vanilla, maybe?
Yeah.
And I've gone in the club, and as I've walked in, remember all that week I'm filming, so I've not been out in the public. I don't know what's happened. Oh, I'm in the paper, but you still haven't seen people's reaction.
Yeah.
I've gone in this club, and I just didn't know what was happening. It was just because it was so instant, because TOWIE blew up overnight. It didn't gradually happen. It went bang. And people started looking at me in the club and asking for pictures. And I remember I took myself to the toilet and I texted my mum. Always remember, I went, Mum, it actually gets me a bit choked up thinking about it. And I went, Mum, I'm famous. And I remember saying it. And obviously, as I said, my goal weren't to be famous. But I noticed it happen. And I just went, that's it now. My life's never going to be the same. From that day, I'll never look back. And it just kept growing. And you just end up getting used to it. But I found it quite tough at first. Fame, because it was so instant.
Yeah.
They weren't walking down the street and one person recognised me because that person watches my little show. It was everyone was just on it. So it was daunting, but also fun.
And obviously, everyone always talks. It's massive at the moment, like the mental health side of it, and actually dealing with it, dealing with the fame, dealing with the trolls. And did you feel at any point where you was like, do you know what? Obviously, after the first show, you was like, I'm done with it. But as it progressed and you become more and more famous, you're getting more and more people following you, more and more people asking you questions in the street and whatever. But did you get any actual abuse to yourself and to your family?
A lot. I played a character on the show that was, it's real life, but also you dramatise your real life moments. And I knew what this show needed to be popular. It needed drama. The way you create drama is people being upset and arguing.
Yeah.
So where I was there and I had a couple of girlfriends on the show, I had to create drama. So I was playing up to this playboy character. I was only young. I was a bit of a cheeky chap, but I was playing up to it more. Well, of course, people don't like that because you're upsetting people, and I was aware of that. That's why I said to them, I want Nanny Pat to be on the show because it needs to humanise me. And I wanted a very clever move that I did actually looking back. And I wanted Arj to be my mate. I didn't want one of my other kind of cheeky chat club promoter mates to be on there. I wanted him to human and show that I've got a normal, nice side as well. And that's how I managed to balance. So I had the people going, I can't believe he's just done that, to the people going, oh, you know what, how cute, smart of his nan. And I had to balance that. But yeah, it was hard to know that people were feeling that way about me when I wasn't that guy. And that's why I left so quick. I left after 10 months or 11 months. I only did 3 series. And I said, coming to the 3rd series, I said to my agent, there's one thing I want to do, and that is it. Because they were going, you're leaving, what do you want to do? I want to do the jungle, and that's it. And they went, why? And they was like, it's risky, because they didn't even know they were all me. They were just watching me on telly thinking I could go in there and be a bit of a dick in there as well. And I went, because I know who I am, and I know I'm a good person, and I want to go in the jungle, show the real me for 4 weeks if I get to the final, which I luckily did, and then let everyone forget the bad, what they may have thought about me in TOWIE, and then I move on with my life, TV presenting, radio presenting, whatever I'm going to do, but people knowing the real me. And that's why I did the jungle, and it was probably the best move I ever done, because that kind of sent me to another level. And any doubters and haters I had, I turned, because they get in the jungle, you can't dramatise and create scenes. You are who you are.
There's no hiding place.
No, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? You're at your rawest in that jungle. And I look and I think, and this is kind of why I do this, because I want people that don't know the real you. And listen, obviously everyone's seen you in stages. People will see you on a calendar, or they'll see you on Take Me Out, or they'll see you on the different things that you do. But do they really know you? Do they know? They don't know the Mark Wright that I know. And that's the biggest thing for me, is you're just exactly the same as everyone else. You've been given an absolutely unbelievable opportunity, and you're maximizing it. And like I say, because of your work ethic, you are really, really maximizing it, and you've carved out an unbelievable career for yourself. But underneath all that, you're exactly the same as me, as anyone else out there. So this for me is more letting everyone know that I think you've hit the nail on the head. Like my mates will tell you, the thing that I pride myself on most, if you're a footballer, you want to score in the top bins and you want everyone to remember you for that, or the man winning the FA Cup final. If you're an actor, you want a star performance, a dramatic performance, and win an award at the BAFTAs. For me, genuinely, it's just letting people. I just want people that know me, because obviously I'm known, to a reasonable amount of people in the UK, and I just want them to know the real me. I just want them to know that I'm a normal person and I'm a nice guy. See, when I probably won't get an invite now, but when I'm not going to say any award shows, but when I go to award shows, the biggest ones you can think of, I would swap a night in the village pub with my mates for that any day of the week. Yeah. And the one thing I'll say to anyone who's looking to get into fame, if you're a bad person, you'll become worse. And if you're a good person, you'll become better. If you're a good person, you'll become more grateful for what you have, your family, your friends, because you realise that all this fake world that you're working in, which is fine, football's a fake world. Everyone's trying to outdo each other. It's the same thing. You've got a player in your position. He's your mate on the pitch. If he's on the bench, he's wanting you to foul. Yeah. Simple. Yeah. And you're really family orientated in there. There's obviously I refer to Josh mainly. Obviously going to Crawley, becoming a professional footballer after so many years of wanting that, being able to play and train with Josh at Crawley. You've set up Train Right with it, bringing your family on to TOWIE with you. Everything that you do seems to always be, I want to bring my family with me. And that's rare. that's so rare, especially in people that are really famous, to want to bring their family with them as well. You know, and you've done that throughout your whole career, really.
Mates as well, really. Like, I want people to do well. I want like, I'm sat here with you now. It's Friday afternoon. I'm not saying I've got a million other things to do, but I want to do this for you. Like, I'm sitting here as you're talking, I'm going, Jesus, Aaron's really good. This is going to be really good. And I'm sitting there going, I want this to make this for him, because I want you to succeed, because that's just the person I am. If I'm succeeding, I want to bring everyone with me. You're a mate. Do you know what I mean? I want my mates, I want my family with me. And that's the thing with Josh. Like, I didn't have to make him a partner at Train Right. I started it in lockdown on my own, and that's kind of what blew up. And I knew Josh is great at fitness. I knew he could bring something, and he does bring a lot to Train Right. He comes up with a lot of the workouts and that. But for me to say I can work with my brother and I can give him a career after football, because you know what it's like when you retire. It's hard for a footballer to accept that. That means more to me than Train Right. Like, I think once you get, and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm sorted for life financially, but once you get to a certain point, you only need a certain amount, and then you can bring people in. Train Right's not really about, listen, I love it, and I love what I'm doing for people. That's one of the reasons I love it. I love seeing people change their lives, get fit, and I'm helping people. And every time someone tweets, like, I get stopped in the street. Geezer in Mallorca the other week, I see him and he went to me, Mark, I was suffering from really bad depression during lockdown. Like, I've got bad mental health issues, and Train Right literally helped me, and I had tears in my eyes. Like, that's what I've done, and that's what I wanted to be. That's what I want to give. That's why I do a lot of charity work, and to give my brother that, Train Right ain't about the money for me. It's about him. It's about him being okay.
And the whole fitness thing throughout lockdown, I done your workouts, and you'd get your friends to come on, you know, who are also in the public eye. But again, that just enhances your reach. You can then touch more people, because all of their fans now then watch. And I thought it was brilliant, you know, what you did. And there was a few of you. There was a few of you doing these workouts to listen. Lockdown's been tough for everyone. You know, the whole pandemic has been tough for everyone, and everyone's been affected in different ways, some more than others. But to be able to have that was massive, and you done it at the right time. And because of the way you did it, it showed that you wasn't doing it just to try and enhance your reputation. You was doing it because you want to help people, and it showed the real you. So it was
the best feeling in the world, though. It really is. It is helping people like that.
100%.
It was just the best feeling ever.
No, like I say, I did your workouts, and some of them were hard. Some of them were quite hard.
Yeah, they weren't easy.
But
the best story I had with that, I used to do Instagram lives late at night when I was in bed and talk to like the Train Right fans and that. It was about midnight. I used to always do it when I got in bed. And I said, does anyone want to join me online? Anyone like want to come on? So I just clicked this random woman. I think her name was Sally. And I clicked on her, and she was like in a nurse outfit. It was midnight. She was about 50 odd, 55, I think she said she was. She went, Mark, I'm just in a care home. So in a care home during lockdown. It was a tough time. So midnight, she's come on this thing. She just started crying. She went to me, Mark, I've never trained in my life, ever. I've never done any fitness. I work in this care home 15 hours a day. It's so hard to see, it's so depressing, but your workouts just gave me that 1 hour release a day. When she said it to me, I went, this is why I do it. And I'm going to do this forever. Just because of that one moment, and that woman said it to me, I went, wow, if I've done that for this woman, I just want to do it for everyone. Do you know what I mean?
And it is other people that inspire, you know, other people's reactions to you will inspire what you do next. And what is that now? So what does the future now look like for you? Because you do heart, which is brilliant. You've got Train Right. You've just done the Euros. We have to touch on the Euros in a bit.
Yeah.
But what does it now look like for you?
I don't really think I always get asked that question, and I don't really think there's an answer with me. And as I said, I don't want to sound arrogant or whatever, but whatever I want to do next, whatever I want to do, I'll just go and do. And I don't know what that might be. Like the Euros, I've never really hosted anything on Sky Sports or any sports show. And I just saw an opportunity and I went, all right, I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to go and do sports now and cross over into that world. And I think people in our industry, they don't do it in America. People in our industry get stuck in a rut of, you're an actor and that's all you can do.
Yep.
You're a presenter and that's all you can do. You're a comedian, that's all you can do. In America, you look at James Corden. He's on stage singing. He's a presenter. He's a talk show host. He's an actor on massive movies. He does everything. And that's what America accept that. England find that hard to accept. So when I did the Sky Sports show, that's the most I've ever been trolled in my life. Ever.
Really?
Ever. because I'm 11 years in now, it don't bother me. Back in the day, it used to bother me because I weren't used to it. Didn't bother me one bit. Before I'd even, this one tweet actually said this. I woke up this morning really pissed off because I was hoping that Mark Wright would be really bad on Sky Sports, but surprisingly, he's quite good. Day ruined. So that guy wanted me to be bad.
Wanted you to fail.
Everyone else, before I'd even said anything, Sky Sports, Mark Wright on, switching off. Mark Wright, what's he doing on my channel, Sky Sports? Because I'm not from a all sports background, they can't accept it.
Yeah.
And if I tried to cross over into, imagine I did want to try and create a song, which I wouldn't. But imagine that's one thing I won't do, by the way. But imagine if I did try and do that, the minute I tried, all the music fans, what's all this about? They don't give you a chance. So, but when I look at it, I don't care what people think. I go, whatever I want to do next, I'll do. And at the end of the day, it's about businesses, money, family, happiness. That's it. If that means doing TV, radio, or train right, that's what I'll be capitalising on.
It's interesting you say that because I had to have this same kind of conversations with people, and it was when you was doing the Euros, and people know that we're friends, and because I'm doing Sky Sports now, because I'm doing the punditry side, and they're almost like, oh, what? So they've put him on now because he's a celebrity, and it's not that.
Yeah, but guess what? Guess what? If it is that, that's a business move from Sky Sports.
100%.
But I understand why people look down on it.
But people always people thrive off of negativity.
Of course.
And
they hate, mate. They
hate to see
can't.
People do well.
They hate people doing things that they want to be doing.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you now, there's been a player who played at your level, in and around your age group, who knows you, who sees you on Sky Sports and has rung up his agent and gone, if Aaron Mclean can do it, I can do it. Get me on there. You'll make them say that because they're not doing it. They'll hate it.
Yeah.
Just keep smiling.
It is.
Haters make you better.
And keep working hard. If anything, that's more motivation, because the more people that look at me and say, why is Aaron Mclean on TV? Like, and they might not even like me. They might think I'm rubbish. I couldn't care less. I know that, right, I've been given an opportunity to be a pundit. I've been given an opportunity to have my own podcast. I'm just going to do the best that I can possibly do.
If you weren't good at what you did, let me tell you now, people who are booking you would not put their life and livelihood on the line after the first time. You've gone back and you've gone back and you've gone back because you're good.
Yeah.
So no matter what anyone else says, they don't matter. Until they're your boss, that's when they matter. And that's like Sky Sports. If I weren't good, after day one, they'd have gone, look, Mark, we're so sorry it doesn't work. We gave you this opportunity, but it doesn't work. And I'd have gone, no problem, walked away. They didn't. They kept me on to the end, and they're asking me now what we're going to do next.
Yeah.
Because I've done a good job.
No, you did. You did a really good job. I told you that anyway.
Yeah. Cheers,
You've
mate.
done brilliant. Touching on the Euros, mate, being in and around it, it must have been amazing because you are a massive football fan.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You are go down to sit on the turnstiles kind of fan. Do you know what I mean? So working in it, what was like the best bits of it for you?
I think it was just talking, being paid to talk about something I love.
Yeah.
And if I weren't doing it on telly, I'd have been on the phone to one of my mates talking about it. So it was just a job. I've never worked really in sports. And sports is my number one passion, as you know, fitness and football and stuff. So to be able to do a job that was talking about football, and the biggest thing I support in terms of football, I'm a West Ham fan, but England's my number one. That's when I really come out of the woodwork as a proper fan. So yeah, it was a dream job, really. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And obviously I'm completely grateful because I know that I'm not 100% ex-professional like someone who's had a long career like yourself. So I'm very grateful I got the job, but I loved it.
Is it something that you'd want to do more of?
Yeah, but not just that. I love being able to flick around, presenting sports today, doing radio tonight, I'm doing fitness tomorrow, and just keeping it bouncing. That's what I love about my job.
And where does that work ethic come from? Like because it's not something that people are just born with. Or should I say, I think you are born with it.
Do you know what?
It's getting it out.
It's an amazing question, that. And are we born with it? Have I learnt it from watching my dad go from there to there and then climb his way back up and watch him go through that? Or is it within me? I think it could be within me because my cousin Elliot's the same. My dad and his brothers are the same. most of my family are like it, but I did a show called Who Do You Think You Are last year, where they go back on BBC and look at your ancestors and where you come from. And the main question they kept asking me was, are you driven? Have you got drive? Like, where do you think that comes from? And when they revealed it to me, my ancestor was a master of sword fighting in Spain. Like, he used to teach everyone sword fighting. He was the boss of it. Then later on in life, they were market traders in the East End. They had nothing, but they had to make ends meet by market trading, and that's my mentality. If you was to sum up my mentality in terms of the entertainment world, I'm a market trader, because I'm here, I'm wheeling and dealing, I'm here, there and everywhere. I'm convincing Sky to give me a job there, then I'm going over to the music world, and I'm just always moving. And as I said earlier, sometimes I feel guilty on myself. I'm like, I shouldn't be working this much, because I look at some of my mates who are more chilled, and they're going, oh. My mate said it to me the other day. He went, mate, you wear me out. He was with me for an hour, Tony. He went, mate, you wear me out just being with you. And when he said it, I got a bit like downbeat and a bit like, oh, maybe I am working too much. Maybe I should relax a bit more. And I tried it, and I got bored out of my head. I love it. It's part of my. Your heart is filled with certain things, right? Like a pie chart. Family, love, money, if that's it, and mine is working and drive. I love it. Absolutely. People like going to the fairground or riding scramblers or whatever. I love to work.
But do you actually get a chance to actually just
Sometimes
relax?
I haven't slept for about 3 weeks. No, I do. Listen, I'm busy. I'm not that busy. I do work hard, but I make sure I've got downtime. You know, I've got a wife that, you know, I love spending time with, and you know, she works very hard herself. She's a grafter, and we make sure we put it into the diary. Like there's certain times where we have downtime and we're together. But yeah, no, of course I have downtime. Like tonight, I'll be going to a restaurant with my mates and having a couple of beers, and Michelle's making her way down later. She's working in Manchester at the moment on a show called Brassic. So she'll come down later, and you know, I'll go home from the mill. Me and Michelle have a nice weekend together down here, and then we'll go back up north next week, and we just make it work, you know. And there's no rules in life, Airzy. Like if you look at that's sometimes another thing people say about my relationship. Oh, they're always working. When do they see each other? And we're taught by our parents and our grandparents that you marry a person from your area, and she stays at home and cooks and cleans and whatever, and you go out to work and come home every night, and at 9 to 5, that's what we know, because that's what my granddad, that's how he lived his life. That's all he knew. But there ain't no rules. If I want to go away and work for 2 weeks, my wife supports that, and vice versa. And I have enough quality time with my family, my wife, and my friends, but I also work hard at the same time. But when I say I'm addicted to work, I wouldn't put it above my family and friends. No way. They come first, and then I work around it.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. You couldn't have summed it up any better. Mark, seriously, thank you so much for coming.
No, man, honestly, I've really enjoyed it. Just having a chat, and just because it's nice to hear someone like you who, when you say all that stuff back to me, it makes me feel a bit proud. Because as I say, where I'm always on the run, I don't get to realise how much I've done. But now, when you've summed it all up over the years, I'm like, geez, you know, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, you're doing brilliant, nice. Mate. And like I say, from when we first met, your journey has been, it's been an unbelievable journey, but it hasn't been easy. I'm sure that you've had things that you've gone on and you've tried and it hasn't quite worked out. And
yeah, a couple of times. When I've left Towie after the jungle, I did 2 shows. They both bombed. One didn't make the air. One made the air, and I've got apps. I think it was a double-page spread in the paper said, "This is the worst show on telly." And at that point, I was like, have I thrown it all away already? But someone else would let that affect them. And my message to anyone is, if you get sacked from a job, if someone tells you ain't good enough, don't listen. You can always come back. You know that. You must have had knocks in your football career, like 100%. And then come back and then laughing back at the manager who dropped you.
100%.
That's what it's about. And you know, I ain't special. I'm still grafting. As I said earlier, I've not really got a talent. I just work hard. And anyone that doesn't want to be more successful than they are, that's fine. Live your life, be chilled. If you want to be more successful than you are, work a bit harder, and anyone can do it. You're on your own journey. Whoever's listening to this now, they're on their own journey. As long as you can, when your day comes, as long as you can look back and say, cliche song, as long as you can look back and say, I did it all. I lived and I did it all. I've done everything that I wanted to do, and I gave everything. Because the one thing for me is, say you went to me, Mark, this is Geezer wants you to do a TV show, and I was a bit like, oh, it might not be the best. I don't know, this is risky. I would regret more not doing it and looking back and going, what if that would have been good? Than doing it flopping, because then I go, at least I know.
Yeah.
At least I tried. Life's too short to try everything.
Yeah, your attitude's bang on, mate. And that is why you've been so successful. And why
That's
you
what
will
you're doing
continue
now.
to...
I said to you the other day, well, there's cameras coming to a podcast. And, I couldn't be able to do my hair. No, you're bringing cameras. You went, yeah, Mark, your exact words to me, exactly my attitude was, Mark, I'd rather give everything, put everything into it, and if I have to scale back eventually, that's fine, but I don't want to regret anything. Yeah. And that motto right there is how I live my life.
Yeah, I think I'm exactly the same. And for me, I've been given an opportunity, or I think I've given myself an opportunity that now that I'm in media, if I want to have my own podcast, I want to do it, but I don't want it to be exactly the same as everyone else's. I don't want it to just be a Zoom chat with someone, and I don't want it to be the same. What I see in my head, that's what I'm going to go for. I'm not going to scale back because other people think, this might be a little bit much. No, this is how I see it. This is what my passion is, and I'm going to give it everything. Same as the punditry, I'm going to give it everything.
And because you're so passionate, it will work. If you want it enough, it'll work.
Yeah, I think you make it work.
Exactly.
You make it work.
What you just said there, by the way, you should clip that, and that should be the entry to your podcast, because he's basically said what it's about. And this ain't no normal podcast. So come and listen to Aaron Mclean's No Boundaries.
I might do that.
Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure, honestly.
Bro, seriously, thank you so much for coming down.
No, mate, thanks for having me. Thanks for wanting me on. I loved it.
Mate, it's been brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you.
Legend.